Hello everyone. Welcome to Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're doing the mid-October love check-in for the sign of Sagittarius. Alright? My lovely Sagittarius, we're going to get right into it. Pull out your reading for this middle October period. We're going to use the Celtic Cross simplified variation just to switch it up a little bit. And of course, my regulars know that I am a Sagittarius myself. I have a moon in Leo, Taurus rising, and a few other bits and bobs in that natal chart. But for the most part, I am a Sagittarius with 4 planets in Sagittarius. So I love being me, and I love you guys too. So let's get right into it. Center card, we have Page of Swords, covered by the 10 of Swords. 9 of Pentacles. Coming out for every reading this week so far, we've seen a 9 of Pentacles. And Judgment and the High Priestess. Wow. At the center of the reading, we have the Hanged Man. All right. Interesting. So Hanged Man energy is being sort of stuck. Is it being stuck, though? Let me clear something up about the Hanged Man. He's not stuck. He just chooses not to do anything. He chooses not to forge any kind of new path or make any effort. Why does he choose not to do it? Because he doesn't think it's worth it. He hasn't found anything that's worth putting the extra effort into. And so when the Hanged Man shows up in the reading, it's because you have finally seen or found something that's giving you the inspiration to want to be better, to want to be more of who you are. This is indicated by the illumination of enlightenment around his head, right? Which shows that he has woken up. He has realized it's time to put more effort into a certain area of his life. It's time to come out of what is a fairly kind of routine or sort of settling for less position. So let's get right into the center reading, Sagittarius. We have Page of Swords covered by 10 of Swords. Wow. What a beautiful combination, right? Page of Swords talks about new ideas coming in, a new way of communicating, right? The Page of Swords is very frank, very logical. This is sort of the start of an idea. This can often indicate like the inkling of the inspiration for an invention, a new idea, a new way of doing things, and a solution to an old problem, right? These are all the things that are associated with the Page of Swords. It can also be, just really going down a different path, right? Starting a new path in a particular field of study, right? Or a particular career field. It could even indicate the same career field, but going down a different path and forging sort of a different slant, something new. But something new in terms of the way we think about things or the way we communicate. It can also be that you have just, Sagittarius, just entered into kind of a renewed, youthful feeling in your life in general. It couldn't be that, yeah, you may have been in Hanged Man energy for a while. Some of your ideas and your I want to say your inspiration and your thought patterns may have been quite stagnated for a little while because they weren't being challenged, and now it's almost as if all the cobwebs are blown away, and you're bursting with ideas, and you're bursting to sort of forge ahead with that. And that is covered with 10 of Swords, because for some of you Sagittarius, you have come to the end, if not most recently, but you are just now coming to the end of a very long period, or certainly a very difficult period of struggle, right? 10 of Swords indicates the closing of a very difficult period that has caused you a lot of pain. You've taken a lot of blows to the ego, you've taken a lot of knocks. This could be a period where you've had to deal with some financial issues. You may have had to deal with personal issues. You may have had to deal with addiction issues. You may have had to come out of rehab, or you may have had to go through a particular field of study that took a long time, that was very difficult. You've had a lot of setbacks. You may have had people telling you can't do it. All of these things are is part of a very difficult period or a stage in life that is coming to an end now, and the end is indicated by the old ego finally being killed, right? Murdered by the 10 swords of trials and tribulations of this path. The old you is dead. Right, and it took a lot of beating. It took a while. It took a lot of pain. But the old ego is dead, and it's making way for the new ego. The new ego rises smaller. The new ego that comes up each time the old one is dead should be smaller, because the ego is indeed small. We think it's big, but it's small. The smaller your ego, the closer you are to your spiritual essence, your true spiritual essence. And so the old you is dead. The old you that thought you could, perhaps an example would be, going through life being a dick, right? Say you go through life, you're pompous, you're arrogant. I'm not saying this is how you are, Sagittarius, but we can be a little bit, arrogant, right? But it's not a bad thing. What I'm saying is that, say for instance, you're going through a particular stage in your life, and it's just the way you've been behaving, the way you've been treating people has caused you to keep coming up against experiences that have knocked you back, that have proven to you that you just can't treat people this way, or else these are the consequences. Or you may have gone through a period of example would be, maybe you've gone through a period of poverty or not having enough money to do what you want to do, and so there were times you were embarrassed. There were times that you couldn't dress as well as you wanted to, or you couldn't do the things you wanted to. And again, that's another sword in the ego, right? That's another kind of killing off of another little part of your ego, right? And as you come across these sort of type of events, once you get to a period of realizing and learning what you need to learn from that, this is what we then find, where we then find ourselves at a 10 of swords. Because everything that you were, everything that your ego was before that kind of propelled you into these scenarios has now been sort of transmuted, right? It's learned, that part of the ego has learned its lesson the hard way. And so this is a very positive aspect. It's a renewal after a death of the old. Again, 9 of Pentacles has come in for everyone. So right now, everyone is kind of like dealing with kind of their personal goals and ambitions, right? A lot of people are stacking their coin right now, and certainly these are love relationships, but it's almost as if there's been a lot of upheaval in love relationships for some of us recently, or there may have been a lot of sort of like gray area. And the most important thing for many of us has been to make sure that our own garden is full, that our own level of happiness is achieved through our own blood, sweat, and tears, so that we don't have to depend on someone else, which ultimately has led to heartbreak for many of us, right? And so in 9 of Pentacles, we see a character who's happy to, in a way, be on their own, to be, they're extremely independent. They don't, nobody else can, they don't have to thank anybody else for their success. They've achieved all of this on their own. However, the one caveat with all of the 9 cards is that there is an inherent kind of essence of either alienation, solitude, or perhaps a bit of loneliness, because oftentimes in order to create such a beautiful garden of abundance, we do sacrifice close relationships, right? Sometimes we alienate ourselves from friends that we've had, or family, or close relationships that we've had, in the pursuit of this financial security and safety and abundance, because not everybody can follow you, certainly if you're successful. This is an example of if you grow up with a group of friends, right, and you become very successful, and you're no longer as tight as you were because they simply don't have the same lifestyle that you have anymore, right? It's not because you don't want to be with them. It's simply because the nature of your environment, the level of your status and abundance, oftentimes can alienate you from those around who either don't have that, or become envious and jealous, or are unwilling to sort of remain connected in the same way because now you have so much more than them. And so this is right now. And so what I'm saying is the overall gist is that right now it's all about Sagittarius. It's all about you making sure that your abundance, your garden is full, so you don't have to depend on anyone else. So that you don't have to succumb to someone else looking after your abundance, which ultimately can lead to heartbreak. Underneath of this all Page of Wands is that you have this inspiration that's been coming in, this renewed sense of creativity. You're doing something very, very original right now. You have, for some of you, you may be starting businesses, or you may be starting a particular path in life that is really, that is extremely creative, that is allowing you to express yourself creatively and in line with your heart, with your passion. This is a nice connection with the Nine of Pentacles, right? Can be that some of you have worked very hard at a particular job, and now is the time, now that you have reached a certain level of success, now is the time that you want to go ahead and forge ahead with certain creative ideas that you've had. Certain creative objectives that you have, right? Page of Wands is certainly the idea of being free, unencumbered by embarrassment, or unencumbered by the need to dance to somebody else's drummer, being happy, to dance for the, as if nobody is watching, it's that feeling, right? Page of Wands is certainly, it's the earthy aspect of fire. So it's like when we take our fire, our ambition and our desire, that kind of, I want to say that Kundalini energy, certainly, right? That kind of boils away the feeling of giving that expression, wanting to give that expression, right? And not being embarrassed about it, not being encumbered by the rules of society, right? This is very nice, unique energy, Page of Wands. Certainly very original, very, very creative. Judgment has come out. This is the third time Judgment has come out in this position. Maybe even the fourth time. So we're talking about many of us, and certainly you, Sagittarius, have come out of a recent period of really letting go of judgments, of certain judgments that you've held on that's kind of kept you from being the best you can be, or certainly kept you from maybe even forging ahead on a particular path, because maybe before you felt like you didn't have what it takes, or before maybe you had self-esteem issues or guilt issues, whatever the case may be, you had judgment issues that stood in the way of you kind of going after what you truly desire. And so when judgment comes in, you let go of all of that. You begin to see situations from different sides and understand that there is no right or wrong, right? There's no right or wrong. We are only beholden to the judgments we place in ourselves, right? And so oftentimes, when we think about situations and we feel guilty for something that's happened in a situation, or we have misplaced guilt, or we judge others, right, for their actions without trying to understand the situation from their point of view. With judgment, we begin to see a situation from every angle, and therefore for everyone's point of view. And now and in this way, we begin to have compassion. We begin to have empathy. And the most important thing is we begin to let go of petty judgments and values that we've placed on people. We begin to understand that it's more a feeling, it's more a sort of subjective experience. There is no right or wrong, and there is no reason to feel guilty for being who you are. There certainly is no reason to hold on to guilt for being human, for making mistakes. And this is all part of judgment. It's all part of the forgiveness of judgment and the understanding of true judgment. That you are only beholden to yourself and your own moral center. And there is no right or wrong. There is only experiencing and learning and expanding and being and becoming more and closer to who you are. This has allowed you to really blossom your intuition, intuitive ability, Sagittarius. You know what to do. You know what's coming, right? You know you are walking a path right now that is hard. The High Priestess is very cagey. Her secrets, she doesn't give them away lightly. The Torah, you can see, is on her lap. The Torah is the embodiment of sacred, secret knowledge, right? And so with the High Priestess, we talk about, you know, the path that we walk as individual, you know. And in order to understand the secret that the High Priestess holds, you know, the secret to having such a high level intuitive ability and having such a high level of confidence, these are the things that we learn as we walk our own walks, right? They're very difficult to learn. They're very individual. But most importantly, the High Priestess comes in to remind us to remain vigilant, to hold on to listen to that inner voice, because it is strong, it is correct, and it will increase and reaffirm our self-confidence more than anything. Certainly for some of you who are resonating with this kind of newness that's starting, this newness from this new period that you're coming out of, and this desire to kind of forge this new path of creativity, there will indeed be self-confidence issues along the way. But the High Priestess comes in to remind you, don't waver. Be confident, be sure. Listen to your inner voice. Your inner voice is right. You're on to something very good here. Now, why is this a love reading, right? There's no mention of love. Well, then this reading is for those Sagittariuses who need to go through this before you can feel comfortable in a relationship. I'm going to say, if you're single or if you are in a relationship right now, the most important for you, this reading for you, is forging ahead with this path. And the reason why this particular message has come up is that for those Sagittarius who are resonating with this, you won't, you will not be ready or able to really make that love connection until you are happy and satisfied in yourself with how your life path is going, with your ability to achieve the abundance you're seeking, right? Manifest this new idea and this new inspiration that's come in, this new creative ambition that's come in. This is all necessary for you to be comfortable and open enough to being able to put time into a relationship. Some of you Sagittarius may indeed be in a relationship right now, but it's certainly taking the I want to say it's taking a backspace, right? A back position to all of this, to you kind of moving forward with this idea. And I'm going to say this is for Sagittarius also who have recently either started a new career or a new particular path in their life that is meant to bring in money and abundance. All right. So if you've started in the last few months, if you've started a new creative endeavor or a business endeavor that involves a lot of creative, intuitive ability, then, you know, in order for you to rest long enough to make this love connection, or if you're in a love connection, in order for you to have the energy to put into it, you need to see this kind of come to some sort of fruition so that you can feel comfortable and satisfied and confident with your own abilities, right? Some of you may have been through some difficult relationships in the past that because you did not have your own sort of thing going, you didn't have your own sort of like, I don't want to say so much life, but your own agenda, right? You kind of were at the mercy of that relationship. And when it fell apart, it's almost like you had to pick up the pieces of your life again. And you just don't want to do that anymore, Sagittarius. If you're resonating with this reading, you don't ever want to be in that position again. You want to be in a position where that even if you are in a love connection and something doesn't work out, it's not like your whole world crumbles. And so for those of you Sagittarius right now, this is the utmost important. You establishing this new path, establishing this new idea that you want to forge ahead with, this new business idea or creative ambition. Let's pull a few more cards just to clarify for you Sagittarius, and then I'm going to call it. Knight of Swords, Princess of Swords, Knight of Cups, and Four of Cups. There you go. Bottom of the deck is Five of Cups. So worrying, right? Worrying about past relationships that didn't work out. Just is exactly what I said. You're just, you know, the worry of the past kind of rearing its ugly head again is what's making you kind of put all of this energy into this, right? Knight of Swords, Princess of Swords. This is all about forging ahead with your own ambitious ideas, right? Clearing the way, clearing obstacles. You're so busy with your path right now, which whatever this endeavor is, I want to say it's got to be some kind of business or some kind of project, some kind of creative project. You're so busy sort of forging the way with this. Certainly with Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords at the top talks about coming into a situation with clear, creative thinking, swift, logical thinking. Mind, body, and soul is sort of pointed at a certain scenario, right? You're highly focused and concentrated. You have all your mind and your abilities concentrated on this effort. You don't have any more room for really a relationship until you have sort of satisfied this goal. And it's the goal of being independently wealthy, independently successful, so that you don't have to depend on anybody else for that. Underneath Princess of Swords, same thing. We're talking Princess of Swords, we're talking about, you know, defending your position, being able and being willing to defend your position from anyone outside who doesn't understand. It's so important to you, right? You know that you're going to achieve it, and nobody can tell you that you can't. You know, you are confident. And even when your confidence wavers, you don't waver. Your confidence may waver, but you don't waver. You continue to fight and to forge ahead because of a commitment. It's that perseverance. It's that dogged perseverance that some Sagittarians have when it comes to certainly achieving something very creative in their lives that is close to them. Knight of Cups comes in over that Judgment. So most recently, it could be because of the love connection indeed, because somebody's come in and given you a cup of love that you've let go of the Judgment. It can be for some of you Sagittarius because you have made a connection with someone who wants to be with you, who wants to... They've seen you, they've had their eye on you, and they want to have this connection with you. And because of this sort of love and support and this desire for you that comes in, you let go of some of the judgment and, I want to say, self-esteem issues that you've put on yourself. And it's for that very reason that you have the sort of bravery and sort of the drive to push ahead with this new idea, to push ahead with this new path in your life, right? This new stage in your life. It's because of the support of someone who loves you very much. I'm going to say someone who most recently has come in and again, really helped you sort of let go of some judgments. It could be that this person is someone you've known for quite some time, and you maybe misjudged them. You maybe never even realized that they had feelings for you, but they've made themselves very clear to you most recently. And surely I'm going to say you probably have feelings for them, or else their opinion wouldn't have impacted you so much. However, going forward, you have a Four of Cups, and Four of Cups talks about making sure that your love connection has some stability in it. That it isn't just shallow and easily let go of, right? Four of Cups talks about relationships that are kind of shallow, empty, that are fragile, that cannot stand the test of time. And so you don't want that. You want a relationship that is stable. You want a love connection. Certainly here with this person, the love connection you want is one that should last. And so you know that in order, because of the past, because of the experiences that you've had in the past here with this Five of Cups, you know that the key and the secret to having a true stable relationship, especially for you, is to make sure that you have your own shit going on. You have achieved your own goals, right? So that not everything is tied to the success of your love relationship. And so in this way, you'll have the confidence to forge ahead. This can certainly be for single Sagittarians or Sagittarians who have most recently gotten into a relationship and for the sake of the relationship and themselves are now pushing through with a very important aim or goal, career goal, ambition for themselves, or creative ambition that they really need to manifest in order to maintain their own stability and move forward in this relationship, so that they can bring something to the table without fear that should this relationship fall apart, they're going to have to pick up all of the pieces of their lives. I'm talking about you, Sagittarius. All right, this is your reading for mid-October. I'm going to call it. If you resonated with this, please like, subscribe, and share. But for right now, I'm just going to say, Sagittarius, have a wonderful rest of October, and I'm going to see you in November for the November love forecast. Bye-bye now.